Welcome to Module 9 of the YouTube Video Ads section of Video Ads Academy. In this module, we discuss custom video thumbnails. Okay. Now, as I told you in the previous videos, custom video thumbnails are extremely important. And the reason why is because it'll help boost your click-through rates. If you're familiar with Facebook advertising, you know that the images plays a huge part in how well the click-through rate that you can get on your ad. And obviously, the higher your click-through rate, the lower your click prices. Well, with YouTube, it's called cost per view. Because of the type of ads that we're running, we're driving them to our videos. So there's going to be called cost per view, which is CPV, which is also another type of traffic called CPV. But for the sake of discussion in the YouTube video ads section, when we talk about CPV, we're talking about cost per view of someone watching your video. And so Google is really only interested in their eCPM. And Facebook also, focuses on this number as well. And basically what that means is for every 1,000 impressions they show, what is their effective earnings? Because that's basically what they're trying to do. Because the reality is a higher click-through, ad with a higher click-through will earn them more money than one with a lower click-through. And that's why you'll see them ask you for a bid. Your bid ranges will go upwards when you're not getting really good click-throughs, or what YouTube calls view rate. You want that view rate percentage to be, I've gotten them as high as 2 to 3%. I know somebody that's saying they was getting 10 and 15%. I haven't gotten them that high, but I've gotten them in the 2 to 3% range, and I could probably get a 10% view rate if I were really targeting really small. But when you're doing broad mass appeal type stuff, if you're getting anything over 0.5%, you're doing exceptional. Because right now there's really not a lot of traffic. A lot of competition. So anything over 0.25 to 0.5%, is extremely good, and you're gonna see your cost per views really go down. So that's why custom video thumbnails are extremely important. You want to use this to your advantage. If you want to be able to really get those cheap clicks, focus on creating, different custom video thumbnails to see if you can bump up that view rate, and it'll drive that price down. So again, that's why it's important. Now, the next part of it is the size. Okay, now what I recommend, the smallest size you use is a 300 by 170, because basically what YouTube is going to do is they're going to resize that particular thumbnail. They're going to resize it. So, but I actually recommend that you do 1280 by 720, which is the HD size. And the reason why is because you want it to fill out the entire section when you load it up. If you do anything smaller than that, you'll see where it got the black, on each side of the image when it shows your preview. So if you do 1280 by 720, it allows you to get, everything in there, and then when YouTube resizes it, it'll fit in there perfectly. And ugly works. Ugly. I've been testing a lot. I've been running a lot of ugly stuff lately. I started out using a lot of images and, trying to, show images that evoke, someone's feeling or what have you. But I found that ugly, once again, wins. And that's something that I used to do on Google Display. I used to run a lot of ugly banner ads way back when, before everybody else started doing that. Obviously, it still works, but early on, 2007, when I was really, 2008, when I was really crushing it on display, It was because of ugly banner ads. The click-through rates was high and the clicks were cheap. So helped me out a big time. And what I've been testing too is bright colors and colored borders. And you probably, you know anything about Facebook, you know, the synonymous red border, you know, that's the internet market. You know, those are the internet marketer types. You know, when you see an ad with a red border around it. Well, guess what? It works. I used to use those on Facebook way back. I'll still use them to this day on certain situations. But on YouTube, hardly anybody is doing this. Hardly anyone, hardly any of your competition is going to be using this technique. So that's why I recommend the 1280 by 720, so you can get a huge, big, you know, red or a green or some bright color border around, you know, your picture or what have you, you know, whatever it is that you're using. And then, you know, you want to use pictures and add words in big writing, you know, because if you put the words in small writing, when YouTube resizes your image, your thumbnail image, it's unreadable, and you want big writing so it can be readable. So what you want to do is you want to use, you know, it's almost like a second headline, if you will, because your video thumbnail can have wording inside of it, and then you also get a headline that goes along with your ad. So what I've been doing is using the video thumbnail image to put like the main catchphrase inside of it, and then having a huge benefit statement as my headline. And that really draws people in, and I've seen the click-through rates like dramatically increase. So I'll show you a couple examples. You'll see this hack your sleep one. You know, big red border, black background with white writing. I mean, it really stands out. And that's just something I created, you know, and I'll show you in a moment. I'm going to show you how to like crank these out, and these ugly, you know, these ugly things, they work. Then you'll see these other two over here that's related to basketball. Now, these are not mine, but this is where I got the idea originally for using the picture with the colors and all of that. You can see like the one on the left got the blue and the yellow going on, and the other one got the red and the green behind the guy with the big wording in it or whatever. This is where I originally got the idea from, and I started noticing a lot of the YouTube people on there that get a lot of views, they use this strategy. But this one is like these are like my favorite ones that I'm, you know, starting to replicate, you know, having that background like that, because they just stand out. And I can imagine, you know, and I know this is a technique that a lot of the guys use, that they upload a lot of videos and they create these custom thumbnails. And the goal is to get them to show up beside other videos people are watching as recommended for you videos. And the ones with the best click-through, with the best thumbnails typically get higher click-throughs. It drives more traffic to their channel, ultimately get them more subscribers, and so forth and so on. So I know, you know, guys that really focus on content and have big followings on YouTube, they use this technique. And so, you know, why not, you know, take advantage of it with your ads, because you're basically competing with those people as well, you know, depending on what niche you're in. So, and then the one down here at the bottom is just a picture that, you know, I put like a green border around, and I was surprised at the click-through rate that I actually got on it. I actually ran that for a campaign I was doing without the border and with the border, and it was a huge difference. I think that one got like it wasn't extremely high, but it went from like a 0.21 to like a 0.45 just by putting that that green border around it. So it made a huge, huge difference. So, you know, just a couple examples. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of skin it or whatever, but, you know, these are some best practices from what I've seen that has helped me and has worked. And I think you guys can draw from. And then, you know, now we got a live training section of this module. So what I'm about to do is I'm gonna jump out of this presentation, and I'm gonna jump into a live training to show you how to like create these ugly custom thumbnails like really quickly. So I'll see you in a minute. I'm gonna hop out and I'll be right back. Okay, so now Here's the live training part. Basically, what I'm using right now is something called paint.net. It's free. You can download it. All you got to do is go to Google and type in paint.net. I think it's a getpaint.net or something like that. But it's a free tool, something I've been using for a long time. And, you know, you can crank these things out like really, really easy. So the first step that I do is I'll go to image canvas size. And what I want to do is I don't want to maintain aspect ratio. And I'm going to put 1280 and I'm going to put 720 because that's the size that we really want to use. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is going to recreate that hack your sleep deal I just showed you, right? So basically I'm going to take black. So I'm going to click on black. Then I'm going to click this little bucket, paint bucket deal here. And I'm just going to drop that black in there, right? So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little rectangle here. And this rectangle is how I'm going to create my border. And then if I want my border, I think my border was red. So I'll click this bright red right here. And then I want my border size to be big. I think it's probably like 25 or 30. If you want a big enough border, maybe 25. And then what you do is you just click and drag. Click and drag. And you line this up till you get it right. Boom. And then you come to the other side and you click and drag up. Boom. Now I got a black background, a red border. All I got to do is put some word in here. So now I can go, I think it's impact that I use. Let me see. I think it's impact. Here we go. And I think it needs to be pretty big. So it's probably going to be like 96. So let's try that. And as white, I think the writing was white. So I'm going to click white. I'm going to click here and I'm going to type hack your sleep. Right? Now that ain't big enough, so I want it to be wider than that. So 144. Okay, that's probably too long, so I probably need to cut it down. So I'm going to go 130. Okay, yep, 130 is probably perfect. And boom, I just created that. All I got to do is save that as a PNG file, and I'm done. Now, again, you can also take an image and crop it out to the proper size, put the border around it, and then drop your words, you know, on top of it as well, kind of like I showed you or whatever. But these things right here are easy as heck to create, and you can create a bunch of them, and you can test them out. And what you would have to do is you have to, you know, test one at a time. You know, like you might run one and let it run for a day or two or three and then run another one. Or what you can do is you can upload several variations of the video, and then you can have different thumbnail images with it and create separate ads like that as well. Either or, it's really up to you. But that's basically how you do it. You save it, you know, file, save, you know, wherever you want it to go, say, you know, desktop, and you name it or whatever you want to do. Hack sleep. You know, and click save. Boom, you're done. Click OK. It saves. Now all you got to do is hop into your video, upload your custom thumbnail. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to pop this up. I'm going to click custom thumbnail. I'm going to go desktop. And I'm looking for hack sleep. Hack sleep. I'm going to click upload. Now it's done. All I got to do is click save changes. And you should be good to go. Now sometimes it takes a while for this to update. So what I'll do is jump out the video manager. And then if I jump back in on edit, see, it's still not showing. So sometimes it'll take a while, but eventually it'll update, and this is what your thumbnail will look like, right? And so when you're setting up ads, you'll see, I'll show you, you know, an ad setup, you know, you'll see the little preview. That's basically what your ad is going to look like. That's going to be off to the right over here when you're running it. And those things stand out because it doesn't look like anything else. They stick out like a sore thumb. And they work extremely well. So that's pretty much it. That's just a quick little live training, way to, I had that question asked to me several times, some of my friends that I'm, kind of working with, some of my clients, some of my students that I work with as well. How do, custom thumbnails, what do you do? It's like, dude, it takes you like 10 seconds to create them. So, boom, there you go. So you shouldn't have a problem creating a custom thumbnail that can get you really good click-through rates. So the next video will be coming soon. I'll see you in the next one. Welcome to Module 10 of the YouTube Video Ads section of Video Ads Academy. This video is just talking about conversion tracking. It's extremely important that you place conversion tracking so you can get that data to be inside of Google AdWords interface, because you're going to need that in order to be able to optimize. So it's imperative for you to have that, because you have to know what's working and what's not. And if you're flying blind, you can't. So you need to place your conversion tracking code. So whether you're doing a sale or you're generating leads or whatever you're doing, make sure that you place your conversion tracking. And basically, it's pretty straightforward. It's the same conversion tracking that, in your regular AdWords account. You can put a naming convention on it if you like, but it's just like this tools and analysis section and conversions. Then all you're going to do is just click this, get a new conversion, and then you're going to name it, maybe you want to name it, YouTube sign up, or, YouTube sign up. And then you save and continue. Let's see. And then you got, you want to categorize it, if it's a sign up or a sale, a lead, if it's a view a page or other, whatever you want to put. Then your conversion one. And I usually use like 30 days, which is basically the standard that they give you. Or you can go 90 days if you want. If you have a longer sales cycle, then you want to do that. But if you have a short sales cycle, if you're like me, you're doing mainly direct response type stuff, you don't need a long drawn out one. Just use the default. And then here, your markup language, whether it's HTML or what have you, usually I just leave it HTML. Now, if you know that this conversion event has a certain value to it, it will probably be wise to put it here, because Google will give you, you can be able to view that data inside of your AdWords account and be able to match it up and be able to see right inside of AdWords, what's performing for you. So typically, if it's a sale, it's easier to create that here if it's a sale. Okay. And then what happens, here is I usually always turn that off. Okay. And then you have advanced options, basically like a view through conversion. That just basically means someone saw your ad. They didn't necessarily click on your ad, but they ended up converting anyway. So you can read it. It tells you, this is a window. Is the number of days an ad is viewed during which a conversion will be counted. And you can read more about view through conversion. But that's basically what it means. Someone saw your ad. They viewed your ad. And ultimately, they ended up converting somehow. And Google will count that as a view through. And it just lets you know the impact that your ads are having. Even if people are not clicking on them, if they're getting you view through conversions, then, that's actually a really good thing. So, and then all you would do then is just click save and continue. I'm not going to save it. But ultimately, the next step, they're going to ask you, are you the webmaster or is it someone else? So it gives you the option to send that to your webmaster, or if you know how to place this code yourself, you do it. But, very important step. And if you're advanced, this video you probably didn't even need to watch this video, right? Because it's pretty basic, but it's extremely important that you place this. I can't stress enough, this is one of the key factors that's allowed me to really, help one of my clients, like, make about $500,000. in 2013, you know, strictly from YouTube alone, not including all the other stuff that we were doing. So you have to know what's working so you can be able to optimize. But that's pretty much it for conversion tracking setup. You know, grab the code, place it. You know, if you're generating leads, you know, once you get to opt-in, and then if you have a sale after the lead, you might want to create a secondary one that's for a sale, you know, or whatever. And then you want to be able to place that as well. Really up to you, but at least have, you know, one mechanism in place so you'll know what's working for you inside of AdWords, and then you'll be able to take advantage of the optimization strategies that I'm going to show you. That's really like how you can scale. Okay, that's pretty much it for this particular module. So we've covered everything else up until this point. You should have your research done. You should have everything ready to go. And so in the next training we're going to start focusing on is walking through how to set up your campaign, setting it up for the first time. We're going to walk through that process. So that'll be the next video in the next video. So I'll see you then. Welcome to Module 11 of the YouTube Ads section of Video Ads Academy. In this video, we're going to go through the campaign setup process. Okay, and so basically I'm here inside of one of my AdWords accounts, and basically we're just going to do a live walkthrough, and I'm going to talk you through each and every step. So this is probably one of those videos that you'll probably have to watch a few times, just, you know, because there's going to be a lot of things going on, and really it's going to be dependent on what particular strategy that you're going to implement is going to determine how you set up your campaigns. So right now I'm going to walk you through the entire process and kind of point out each one of those. That way when the video is done, you'll have a clear idea of how to do it regardless of what your strategy is. That way when you get ready to do the strategy that you want to do, then you'll be able to do that. And if you need a refresher, you can come back and watch the video again. Okay, so basically I'll just go, and this is like on your main campaign, or you can go down here where it say all video campaigns. Okay, if you want to jump in there as well. But you can also start it from here where you can just click online video. Okay, and basically that's gonna do that. It's gonna pull up. Okay, and it's gonna tell you if you want to load settings from an existing campaign, or you want to create, you know, new. So I'm just gonna go like I'm creating a brand new campaign. So I'm just gonna call this tests 1. All right, and I'm gonna give it a daily budget of $100 a day, and that's really, you know, depending on what you want to do. Now here's this what's called delivery method. Okay, you can either go with standard or accelerated. Now typically what I like to do starting out is I like to go with the standard delivery method, basically because when you're first creating a campaign, you're basically in the data gathering stage. So what you typically want to do is at least run it for a week, you know, figure out what you can test with, then divide that by either 5 or 7 days. I would say 7 if you can afford to do it. That way you'll have data for every day. And then you want to, at least the first week, you shouldn't have any real expectations. So if you show it evenly over time, Google will automatically spread it out all times of day, okay, and every day, and you set your budget on. So that's a really good, you know, indicator. It'll give you some preliminary data to figure out, okay, certain days, you know, may be working better, certain times of day may be working better. But if you accelerate it, you know, basically it'll burn through your budget as quickly as possible, and then whatever your budget is, it caps out. And that's, you really don't want to do that when you're just starting out. Okay, so leave that at standard. Then you got locations and languages, depending on where you're at in the world. If you want to target all countries and territories, I don't recommend that starting out. I would say whatever your location that you start out targeting, you know, you start with like one country, or if you're, you know, local, doing something local, you know, start out with a specific, you know, area or what have you. You can even, you know, click let me choose, and I could even do so much as my zip code where I live at, which is Douglasville, Georgia, you know, 62,000 people, or I can target this postal code, which is 40,000. Okay, so I could target like 30135, 30134, or what have you. But you know, because hey, these strategies do work on a local level as well. So if you're a local business or you have local business clients or what have you, this same stuff is definitely going to apply, especially if you're in a metro area. So anyway, I'm just going to click US for now. Okay, and then you can choose your language, you know, whatever language you want to choose. You can do that right here. You can edit that. I'm just going to leave mine on English. Obviously, if you're in another country, you can change it. And then here is just some videos that's connected to this particular AdWords account. So I'm going to just like choose this video right here, because basically you can also turn this off if you want to just put the link to the video in here. Now, these videos that show up here, these videos are public videos. If you have a video that's unlisted, if you're running an unlisted video, you're going to need the URL of the video, and you'll just be able to plug it in here and it'll pull up, you know. But I'm just going to pull from, you know, a video from my channel. And basically, immediately after that, now is where you want to start creating your ad here. And so typically what I do, I don't stick with the automatic, because automatic is going to automatically put you in all these formats. And what I like to do is click let me choose, and I only do one format at a time. So if I'm doing in stream or display or search only, I'm only going to check one of them. So for example, I would probably go back up here and probably say, you know, name my campaign, and then I would probably say something like in display. And that lets me know, based on how I name my campaign, that this is a in display campaign. Or if I wanted to do in stream, I would just put in stream, or I could put in search, you know. So I'm just going to say in display for now. I'm just putting that, you know, just, you know, give you an idea. So basically, you know, scroll back down. So here's where it gets interesting, right? So if we're only doing display, I'm going to uncheck in stream, and I'm going to uncheck in search. Okay. And I never really run on Google Display Network, because I have data that, you know, basically our CPAs was like 3 times what the other ones was. So I always usually turn this off when I'm doing in display and when I'm doing in stream, as well as in search. Obviously, Display Network in search won't actually show. So what you'll notice, and then if you click on this, it'll give you like a little preview. You know, once you write your ad, you can click these 3 little previews to kind of show you what your your ads are going to look like. But what you'll see is you'll have these ad attributes that are required. You're going to need a headline. You're going to need a description 1 and a description 2 when you're creating an in-display campaign. And I'm not going to get into like writing the ad and all of that right now. That's actually a section in the resources where I have something I call the fail-proof ad writing system that I created actually quite a few years ago that still really serves me well. So I've modified that fail-proof video ad writing system, and it's going to show you how I go about, you know, writing ads and creating ads for these videos. Basically, you know, creating a text ad type of situation. So as you'll see, the custom thumbnail is already here that is pulled from the video. You won't have to change that here. You'll set your custom thumbnail like I showed you during the setup. You won't have to worry about that. And then you'll put your headline here, your description here, and your description 2 here. So I'm just going to put like, you know, FB. You know, I'm just putting something in here right now. You know, nothing much. You know, just to kind of go through the motions. Then I'm gonna say, you know, check out this simple tip for using video with Facebook ads. Okay, and that's basically like my ad, and then I can look at the preview, okay, and that's not an actual ad that I would run. I'm just kind of filling it in. Again, if you want to learn how to write ads, go to the resources section under the YouTube training, and there will be the fail-proof video ad writing system that I created that you'll want to study if you don't know, how to write really good text ads. I show you how to do that, how to create really good ads. Okay, so then what you'll do is you'll name your ad. Okay, and then we have these advanced ad attributes. YouTube landing page. So basically what this means is when someone clicks your ad that you're going to be showing them, where do you want them to end up? And you probably heard me say this in some of the other training, but I like to send them to the channel page. You can test it for yourself, but I've tested, multiple six figures on this, and hands down, the channel page beats the watch page, every situation that I've run. So that's my recommendation, but obviously, it could be totally different for you, so you may want to test it. But if you're unsure, go with the channel page. That's what has worked, the best for me. Okay. And basically with that, for an in-display campaign, you would be done at this point in terms of creating your ad. Okay. Now, if you were to go back and say, I want to do in-stream only, not display, on YouTube videos, not on display. So now this is an in-stream ad only. What I want you to notice is you're going to have a display URL. Okay. You're going to have a display URL and a destination URL. Okay. And the reason why is because when your ad is running, if someone clicks, anywhere in that ad while your in-stream ad is running, it will take them out to your landing page that you're using. And this has to be a compliant landing page, just like any other Google ad. This has to be a compliant landing page. And then you have the option, now you can see with the advanced attributes for this particular setup with an in-stream only ad, now you have the ability to upload your 300 by 250 or your 300 by 60 companion banner that runs along your in-stream ad. And again, I'm not really getting into, creating banners and all of that. If people need it, I'll probably create some additional training about how to create, banners or what have you, or where you can go, give you some resources about getting a banner, banners done or whatever. So I'm not going to get into all of that. But right now, basically, these are your companion banner sizes. And it tells you YouTube only supports 300 by 60. So that basically means that if you're doing YouTube videos only, the 300 by 60 is the one that you need to use. I believe I run a companion banner with a 300 by 250 as well. So you definitely want to test that. I don't have a banner ready right now, but basically I just want to walk you through the process. Okay, so I'm not going to go into that part of it. This main part of this video is to show you how to set it up so you'll be clear on what you need to do. And any of the extracurricular stuff about banner ads, in terms of creating them and things like that, we'll cover in some additional training. But that's basically it for the in-stream. If I was going to run this as an in-stream, then I would be done. Okay. Now, if you want to go back and do in search, not in stream, and then you would click YouTube search up here, you wouldn't have display or YouTube videos loaded. So this would be an in search only campaign. Again, you're gonna need, if you click on this here, it show you the preview of it. You're only gonna need a headline. You're only gonna need and you're gonna need a description 1 and 2, and your custom thumbnail is already pulled in. So if you're doing an in search only, this is how you would set it up. Basically just like a display, except you just have a different targeting and you still want to use the same channel page. Okay, so that's basically the difference of the three. Again, I personally would run separate campaigns for each ad format: in stream, in display, in search. And that's basically how you set those up. So I'm just going to leave that set up the way it is. I'll leave that stuff. Obviously, you can name these, your own naming conventions or what have you. You can name them. And then what we want to do now is move to the advanced settings section. And so here's where you can schedule, a start and a stop date. Typically, I never put an end date, and my start date is usually whatever day that I'm creating the ad on. I just leave it as it is. Ad scheduling, I usually keep that all days and hours, and we'll get into like optimization and stuff like that about, days and, times of day and stuff like that. But typically during the setup process, I just leave all of this stuff, just like it is. I'm just kind of showing it to you because it's there, and I know people will be asking, well, what about this and what about that? Okay. And then ad delivery, now here's one that, most people may do a little different. Some people will put optimize for views. Some will optimize for conversions, but you don't have any conversion data. So typically I always start with rotate evenly, because usually I'm going to create at least 3 variations of my ad. So I would have this search ad. I would probably have another headline. I would probably have 3 different headlines with this custom thumbnail. And then I'll run it for a while, see what I get, what ad is working better. And then I might switch another thumbnail and see how that'll work. So typically I'm going to do rotate evenly because I just want to get data right now. And then if I see that I'm getting conversions, I can always go back and edit optimize conversions. Or if views are important, then I know that, okay, if I just get a ton of views, the thing is really going to convert. I may optimize it for that. But starting out, I'm going to put rotate evenly, okay? And then frequency capping, I'm not going to cap, on impressions. This is really a feature that you really probably won't use unless you're doing a lot of volume. It doesn't make sense with a small budget to do frequency capping. That's really a feature for, big budgets, $500,000 a day and on up, because you may realize that, it may help your campaign in terms of optimizing when you're doing a lot of volume. So if you're starting out of the gate with a lot of volume, then hey, it might make a little sense to you, but typically just starting out, you don't really want to touch this. This is something you can go back and optimize for later on. And last but not least, we get down to here where it's a device targeting. Okay, and so for device targeting, I always adjust by decrease mobile by 100%. Okay, unless I'm doing a mobile only campaign, and if I do a mobile only campaign, then that would be different. But right now I'm always going to adjust it by 100%. And then here's like your tablet options or what have you. Now if you want to target particular tablets devices, you can do that here. And you can choose, the ones you want to do. Usually, like I say, starting out, I just leave all of this stuff running, gather the data, and I'll show you how you can find out, what device, what particular is tablets or mobile, or desktop, what have you, are working, best for you. You can optimize for that later, okay? But if you know that you have an idea, here's where you do it at during the setup phase. You can click on let me choose. You can target, like, for example, you can target Android, BlackBerry, iOS, WebOS, and then you can select the version of iOS you want to target. Maybe you want 5.0 or higher, minimum, and then your max is none, and you can click, you can add that, or you can remove that, and then you can do all operating systems, and you can only target like certain models. I can do iPad only, iPhone only, iPod Touch only. And then within iPad, you can do the first generation, the 3G, so forth and so on. Like, you can really get granular with it if you want to do that. Same thing with the Android, okay? Lots of options, right? So, I'm going to put that back on all. And then you can also do, if you do Wi-Fi, or you can do carrier specific. You can even target a specific device for, like, I could target iPhones only for people with AT&T, and the idea of doing something like that is crafting a really targeted message to somebody, or if you have data that shows you, people with iPhones with AT&T convert the best for me, then you can go and you can create a campaign once you have that data based on that information. This is where you would do it at during the setup process. Again, I'm going to just, I typically just leave it all like it is here. I decrease the mobile bid, and then I click save and continue. Now I got that. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to create my targeting group. Now, typically what I do at this point is I name my targeting group based on the way that I am going to be targeting, right? So right now, I think I originally set this up as I think I put in display, but I left it as a search. So this actually is really a search campaign if I'm going to continue to build this out, okay? Now let's just assume that for a minute that this is really a display, and we're at the point where we're setting up our targeting groups. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to turn off target people who are searching. I'm going to turn that off. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out, am I going to target by topic, interest, or one of these advanced features down here, which is placement, remarketing list, or content keywords, okay? Now, I can tell you, when you go to set up a remarketing campaign, you will need to set it up as an in display, okay? Because that's the only way you're going to be able to show those remarketing videos back to them. Same thing with placement and same thing with content. If you're using any one of these three under advanced options for target people watching content, or anything on the target people watching content, it needs to be in display, right? And if it's under search, then obviously that doesn't work. So, letting you know now, when you go to create your remarketing campaign, this is where you're going to set up, you're going to create your ad in display. You're going to create it, and then you're going to create you're going to add your remarketing list, right here. Okay. And I'm going to close that out, but that's basically where you would find your remarketing list and add it. And then I would probably type, the name of the remarketing list that I'm targeting, as my targeting group name. Okay. Same thing if you're doing placements. You can come here and you can enter each particular placement that you want to run, and you would add YouTube as a placement. If you only wanted to run your ad specifically on YouTube, you can search for suggestions, okay, or whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm gonna cancel that. And then topics. Now again, I think I mentioned before, topics really didn't perform all of that great for me. Okay, I don't know, they just never really, worked out well. Interests, on the other hand, do. But if you want to target a topic, you got all of these topics here. And then you got these little plus buttons that open up even more. And then if I want to go even further, let's say entertainment industry, and I can even go to recording industry. I can target music awards if I want to, which is pretty cool. Okay. So that's how you would do that. And basically you would use this This information is what the research modules that we already went through. You should already have this information when you get ready to set up your campaigns based on the research that you've done. If you decide you found a topic that you want to target, you would already know what the information is when you download the CSV file doing your research. You'll be able to put that here pretty easy. Same thing with interests, and I think interests, are better. And so they sometimes they'll suggest interests to you, and typically I see this when based on the video that I choose, because when you're creating your video, you're configuring your video. YouTube is basically Google rather is basically they have an idea of what your channel is about, and they have an idea of what your video is about, because they can read that information. Believe it or not, they know a lot about the video from the video itself, even without you putting tags and all of that in there. So then what they'll do is they'll take what they know about your video and they'll suggest, these are the interests that you should suggest. But obviously, if you've done your research already, then you'll know the interests that you want to target, And if not, you can come in here and sometimes I come in here and I just play around with all the different, features or whatever to try to find what's all in here, and I'll target, here go other categories. I think that's what my stuff is on, like computer and electronics, business and industrial, advertising and marketing. If I want to target people doing marketing with teaching them about my Facebook stuff, or which I'll probably be running ads for this course that I'm teaching you guys. I'll probably hey, I'm gonna show you how to do this YouTube ads stuff, and drive them to my channel, and then get them to sign up, subscribe, potentially buy my product. I could do that right here. Okay. So I'm gonna cancel that out, if you want to do that. And last but not least, my favorite is content keyword. This is my favorite method, and I think I explained this before. Basically I have display network background. It's kind of the success when I started really getting into internet marketing. I've been knowing internet marketing for a long time, but I never really took it serious until, about 2007, late 2007, early 2008. And that's when I got serious about it. Within, probably the first 5 or 6 months, I lost a lot of money. And then when I finally found success, it was with the Google Display Network. And all of those skills that I was able to develop from there, I bring it here. And this method reminds me a lot of the technique that I used to use doing those. I used to use like the 1 keyword per ad group method. And that's sort of the same thing I would do with content keyword. I would do a 1 keyword type of deal, right? Sometimes I might do 3 or 4 or 5, but that's 5 is about the max that I would go. And these are my favorite type of in-display campaigns to set up, is with the content keywords. And the other part of that, I think I said this before, and I'm going to reiterate in case I didn't. I believe I told you guys I said this before. I think that when people create content on YouTube, they miscategorize it. But they do a great job of naming the video, tagging, descriptions, things of that nature. They do a great job of. And because of that, I think the more accurate stuff is using the keywords to target videos based on the keywords that you put in. Because I think Google can do a better job of matching your ads up to the right content that way. That's just what I believe. Maybe it was because of my display network background, I don't know, but this method has served me well. I would probably say 70% of the display campaigns, in-display campaigns I run with YouTube is using this method. And I would probably say 70 to 80% of the revenue generated come from using this method. So that's why I like this method. So for my example, I might just put marketing. It's a broad level keyword. Anybody watching something about marketing, they should be interested in my product, or what I'm trying to promote right now. So I might just put marketing in general, and in Google will give you related keywords, like internet marketer, digital marketing, might be one I might add, like digital marketing, because I'm creating what's called like an ad group, basically. So Google is going to they're going to group these keywords and create a theme, and then they're going to try to match my ads up against, based on the theme that they create for me. So I would say marketing, digital marketing, would probably, in social media marketing. Okay, there goes social media. Maybe, okay, and maybe I'll just type it up here, social media marketing. Would probably be like, that would be it. That's probably all I put there. And I click done. Okay. And now that I got those, okay, now what I need to do, I got to put a price in. So I'm gonna bid like 10 cents and I'm gonna see what it tells me. Okay, so at 10 cents, $100 a day budget. Usually what'll happen, it'll give you a predicted budget. But because of the way I set this up, again, I had the search function set up. So targeting settings, it's not going to give me that data because this is not an in-display, actually an in-display campaign. This is, right now the ad that I have set up is the target search. So it's not really even going to give me that right now. Okay. But anyway, that's basically how I would do it. I would name this probably like marketing. I'll probably say marketing content targeting. That lets me know that this targeting group is content targeting, content about marketing, and boom, that's what I would do. Okay. Now that would be it. So once you've chosen your particular strategy, right, whether it be topic, interests, placements, remarketing lists, or content keywords, you would basically be done. You would click Save Targeting Group, and that would be it. Okay. The only other thing I didn't really get into is like age, gender, and any age, demographic, which you can do that as well here. If you know your demographics, you can do that. And you can also set that at the campaign level, what's called an exclusion. And that'll be something that we'll talk about in the optimization stage. But if you don't have a clear idea of your demographics, you can let it run. And then when you go to optimize, I'll show you then what you can do is you can go in at the campaign level and you can exclude certain demographics that are not performing for you. Okay, so usually I'll leave this, everything here. But at this point, I would be done. I have my bid set and I would click save. Okay, so, but this is a search. So I'm gonna say marketing. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the marketing on the search side. Okay, so I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna remove all of these. I'm gonna click done. I'm gonna uncheck this. So that would be the first thing I would do if I come into, because typically what happens, you come in and this is what you'll see when you get to, after you set up your campaign. After you set up your ad, during the initial setup process, this is all you'll see. You'll need to name it and blah, blah, blah. So for search, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck that. Okay. It's going to be the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to uncheck that. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to add all my YouTube search keywords here based on the research that I've already done. Again, when you get to this point, you should have the research already done. I will basically take all my keywords that I have, I paste them in here. Let's just say marketing, and I can click add, and they'll even pull up me some related keywords, right? And let's say I wanted to target online marketing, marketing strategy, digital marketing, social marketing, internet marketing strategies. I can just go through here and just choose as many of these keywords that I want to choose. Okay, as many as I want to choose, and then I would just click done. Okay, or I would just paste them in there. And probably knowing me, I would already have mine created. And then you would want to pick your bid. Now you'll see they telling me a 41 cent to $4.08 cost per view. You know, I'm probably gonna put like 25 cents in and see what it says. Okay. So now they'll tell me, you know, estimated, you know, less than predicted average CPV. Now, typically when you've just starting a campaign, they're gonna usually a lot of times, you know, especially if you're targeting US, you know, only, you're gonna have a much higher cost per view. If you're targeting international, it's gonna be way cheaper. But what happens is you can bid this, you know, you can bid 25 cents, 30 cents. You don't have to bid what they tell you is typical. You can bid below that. But what you really your goal is on your bidding is to get your CTRs up. Because the higher your CTRs are, your bid's gonna go down, you know. And so they don't have a basis of telling me, you know, because this is a brand new campaign, they're just telling me what's typical because they don't have a basis because they don't have any data about my campaign. But once my campaign is running, and if I'm getting high click-through rates on my ads and stuff, this number will actually drop a lot when you go in to create new targeting groups or what have you. Or you'll just see that you getting, you know, clicks and you're getting click-throughs. You can even play with your bids where you can kind of push them down to see at what point of your ads going to stop showing so you can find that optimal bidding deal. And I'll show you a little bit more about that during the optimization module. But basically, you know, that's what you do. And again, I wouldn't, you know, probably even do 41 cents. You know, I'll probably put like 25, maybe 30 cents. See what it tells me, 30 cents. How much would I get? They predict my budget spend. Let's see what it do. It's pulling it up. Now they ain't telling me then. So maybe if I put 41 cents in, it'll jump it up. Okay, it's still not. Okay, what if I put $1 in there? And I'm not gonna bid $1, but let's just see what it'll do. Okay, now it's saying, you know, I'll pay an average of 73 cents. And then you can click the show detail, and it show you, you know, in search, you know, little thing right here or whatever. But basically, that's, you know, what I would do. I wouldn't bid that. I'll probably bid like 25 cents, you know, and see what happens. Usually, I'll bid like half of what they ask me. But again, that's gonna be, you know, targeting US only. You're usually gonna pay a higher one until you can get your cost per views. I mean, your click through, your view through rate is really what it's called. I apologize. It's called view through rate. That's really what you're going to focus on. If you can drive that number up, then your bid, your cost per view will go down. Okay. And so at this point, I got that. I have my keywords. I got my targeting right. I'm going to click Save Targeting Group, and I am pretty much done with this campaign. You know, I can see I got my video ad. I can preview it. You know, here's what it looks like. Okay. I got my video. It'll show you your video. You can look at your targets. You know, here are my targets. It show me my targets and my settings. And I can change this stuff anytime I get ready, you know. And I'll get into this like optimization stuff. We'll talk about all of this stuff. But basically, I'm just walking you through, you know, you can look at your locations. I know I'm only targeting US right now. You know, I know I'm all days of the week, but I can edit my ad schedule here if I want to. My devices, I'm a negative 100% on my smartphones. You know, and tablets, you know, there's no bid adjustment, but I can change those whenever I get ready. Again, and so all of that stuff is there, you know. And next thing you would do then is probably just create a couple variations of this particular ad, and then you are set to go. At that point, you're ready to go. Now all you got to do is wait for your campaigns to get approved, start running, and then you can start gathering data. So in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about once you get your campaigns up and running, now that you got a really good walkthrough of creating campaigns, we're going to talk about video remarketing, because you need to go ahead and set those up right out of the gate. You need to set up your video remarketing list so they can start creating, start building, and then you can also be able to leverage something called similar audiences. But we'll get into that in the next video. So again, this is pretty much it. You know, the next video will be the remarketing. We'll talk about optimization stuff and some other modules. And I'm also going to show you how to organize your dashboard to kind of look like what you see mine seeing. We're going to walk through that process, because what you see when you first set yours up may not look anything like what I'm showing. So I'm going to show you how to actually organize your dashboard so you can get all of that stuff. All right, so that's pretty much it. I know this was a long video, but we had a lot to cover, and I always knew that this was going to be the longest, you know, the campaign one. This is probably the most important one, because once you got all of that other stuff, when you're setting up the campaign, knowing the intricate details, I know you will appreciate that. You know, if you don't now, you will at some point, because you can come back to this video again and again. You can skip ahead, whatever you need to do, and you'll be able to, you know, go through, you know, all it, because I tried to touch on everything, right? All right, so that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to module 12 of the YouTube ads section of Video Ads Academy. This video is going to be on video remarketing and similar audiences. And again, this is just a live walkthrough instead of having like a PowerPoint or what have you. I'm just going to walk you through the process and kind of explain it, okay? So basically, if you're inside your AdWords account, to get to it, you're going to have to go down here and scroll to the bottom where it says all video campaigns. You're going to click that. When you click all video campaigns, it's going to take you to the page. Then what I need you to do is you're going to click where it says under shared library, video remarketing lists. Okay. And this is where you'll create your list, and yours probably won't look like mine, because I got a whole bunch of, you know, stuff I be testing in this particular account or whatever. But what you're going to do is you're going to click remarketing list. So you're going to create your first one. And typically what I like to do is, if someone viewed any video from a channel, I would then select the channel here. You can select any of your channels that you got connected to your AdWords account. And then I would put, I would name it viewed any video from Tommy Powers. You know, whatever channel it is, you would name the channel. And then your duration, you know, it really depends on your market. I usually do 360 days on mine. But, you know, some markets, you know, you may not want to retarget to somebody a year from now. You can also do 540 days. So I usually do like at least 360 days when I'm creating one. Obviously, you know, if you have a, you know, depending on the niche you're in, you may want to do 90, you may want to do 180, you know, 30, I don't know. But if you know, for a year, I usually want to keep them for a year, because I'm going to try to, you know, get them. If I can't, you know, get them, you know, at that time point, I might lay off for a few months, and then I might crank it back up, you know, and maybe they was like, I saw that video and I forgot about it, and then, you know, 3 months later, it was like, oh yeah, I remember that. So that's why I usually like to do that. Okay. And then I always include users from the last 30 days instead of starting with an empty list. And then this list will be eligible to run when it contains at least 100 users. So then I would click create list. That would be the first one that I would create. The second list that I would create is one based on someone watching my ad. So you can click viewed certain video as ad, and then you can choose the ad. Okay, and I know that's the ad that I just set up, right? But if it's if you only have if it's a unlisted video, then what you would do is you would paste that video URL here, it'll pull up down here and you can add it over there. Okay, so that would be the next thing I would do. Then I would name it viewed, whatever the video, FB ad video. Give it a membership duration, include users from the last 30 days, click create list. Again, at a minimum, those are the two that I would create, right out of the gate. Okay. Now I'm going to remove this and then I'm going to go back to this one. Okay. So now what you can do is you can see if someone visits your channel page, you got all of these different ways of targeting people, very powerful stuff. And I'll be honest, I haven't used all of them. I've used some of them. And some of it is overkill if you're not getting a lot of volume. I can tell you with the high volume stuff I've worked on, yeah. Have I done a lot of volume stuff on my own account? Obviously not. If you look at my Tommy Powers YouTube channel, I don't even have a lot of subscribers or whatever, because I don't really do a lot with that channel yet. I'm just really starting to build that channel out. Hopefully over time it'll kind of grow. But as of right now, I haven't really done a lot with it. A lot of the stuff that I do really is my clients, and working with the people that I coach and teach and stuff like that, because that's really how I make my living, But now that I have this product that I'm teaching you guys with, I am going to start running some stuff or whatever. But anyway, this stuff can be overkill, to be honest with you, until you're doing a lot of volume. Really, the only two you need is if they've been to your channel or they watch one of your ads. Every time you use a video to create an ad, hop in here for a remarketing list and create that ad, okay? And then, when you get more volume, you can look at this stuff, because here's like, they dislike the video, If they dislike the video, that may be an interesting way to put a spin on something. Or if they commented on the video, typically if someone comment on your video, that's like the most highly engaged person you want. So you would probably want to target those people again. Okay. And see, shared certain videos. If they shared it, subscribe to your channel. That's probably the third one that I would do. And I think I already have that one created for my other stuff that I'm doing, my own channel. If they subscribe to my channel, I would want to retarget those people. But again, you need at least 100. So if you're not doing a lot of volume, it's going to take you a while to even get 100 subscribers. Okay. Just like an unsubscribe, maybe you want to woo them back. But if you're not getting a lot of volume, it'll take you forever to build up enough lists to even use that. So to be honest, not a lot of volume, you're probably wasting your time, doing it. You're doing a ton of volume, then these opportunities become, a gold mine, okay? So anyway, I just wanted to kind of go over that stuff with you. Once you got your list created, you create lists, and basically you're done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cancel this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back into this campaign that I just created. And I actually went in and renamed the title really quickly. But I'm going to go to targets. And like I'm creating a new targeting group. And this might be for remarketing. So I'll go here. And if I want to use remarketing lists. Now what I want you to understand is these remarketing lists can also target people who have been to your website as well. Okay. You can also target those people as well. So you got AdWords remarketing lists, and then you have the one by your channel. Okay. So AdWords remarketing lists, this is like, different, all site visitors. I think this is like, my website in the last 30 days, the people that have been to my website, and people similar to the people that's been in my website. I can retarget those people, those 360,000 people, on YouTube. So what'll happen is the ad you created, you're not necessarily setting up a campaign to target people who have watched your video. you're creating a campaign to target people who have been to your website. So it's also very important that you create a remarketing list for your website so you can be able to retarget those people when they're watching videos on YouTube. Very, very cool stuff. Okay. And what I want to also is the similar audience deal. Okay. And I want to explain that real quick. So basically, I'm just going to hop into Google real quick, and we're going to pull up similar audiences AdWords. Okay. And it'll tell you what it's about. So we hop in here, and they are formed. It tells you how they are formed. Okay. AdWords look at browsing activity on display network the last 30 days. And that's basically how they create these audiences. The similar audiences is based on your remarketing audience that you develop, that you're creating. So you're driving ads, or even if you're driving people to your website, you're building a AdWords remarketing list. Once you get at least 500 people on your remarketing list, it tells you, then Google will automatically create it. So it says a similar list is created from a remarketing list with at least 500 cookies with enough similarity and characteristics, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to read more about it, you can just Google, similar audiences, AdWords. And that's basically how they are formed. So in order to take advantage of these, you have to be creating AdWords remarketing lists if you want to do it on AdWords and retarget people who have been to your website with videos. And you also have to create video remarketing lists. And once you have enough people on your list, then they will automatically create this similar audience for you. And it tells you this feature is available for the display network only. And I can tell you these similar audiences, they don't perform as well as a retargeting, a regular remarketing list, or retargeting, or whatever you want to call it, but they do perform very well. Google does a really good job with these similar audiences, especially when you got your targeting dialed in and stuff. So I would tell you, make sure you take advantage of this similar audience feature. And if you need to do that on the, and I'll go to that in a minute on the regular Google AdWords retargeting in a minute. But I just wanted to show you, like, when you're creating, this is how you can create it. Either you can do, and I will separate these campaigns as well. So I have a campaign that only targets people who've been to my website, and then I'll show that person a particular video based on the fact that maybe they've been to my website. Now I want them to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll run a remarketing list to that person to get them to subscribe, or something to that effect. Then I'll also have a campaign for people who watched a video similar to the ad that I've been running, right? I can also run one to someone who's watched my ad, but every one of those, I never have more than like one, I might have two in here where I may go like similar, and then also the people that have actually visited my site. But usually I'm only going to do one at a time, and I'm going to break those out, one campaign each. Okay. And that's how I go about actually creating those. Okay. So if I wanted to do that and click done, then I can click my bids or whatever. I wouldn't target search, right? And that's basically who I'm targeting, and I'll save that targeting group. I'm not going to save it, but that's basically how you do it. You set your bid, and boom, you're done. So if I set a bid, it's say 21 cents. That, they typical. They're telling me I can get 17,000 to 27,000 views per day, based on this, based on, targeting these particular people. And it's an ongoing rolling process with the similar audiences. They're constantly building that based on, the bigger your AdWords remarketing list or your video remarketing list get, the bigger your AdWords similar audience and video similar audience gets. Okay. So it's an ongoing basis. But, I'm not going to save this, but that's basically how you do that. I'm going to click cancel. And then if you go to your all online campaign, so let's hop back in that, okay, real quick. And I'll show you. Then basically you go down here to where it says shared library, you know, and you'll click on audiences, okay. And this is where you want to go in and create your Google, your AdWords remarketing list for your regular website stuff, because it'll actually list all of them. It'll tell you, you know, what type it is or what have you. So basically, that's basically what you do. You want to place that as well if you want to get those people who are visiting your website and you want to get them when they're on YouTube. This is basically where you find that at. You can create that. You can also create retargeting lists from your analytics. If you have your analytics, Google Analytics, and your AdWords connected, you can also use that to build it as well. And again, I'm not going to get into the details of that. You should be able to figure that out pretty easy by doing a Google search. Pretty simple stuff to do. Google got a lot of information on how to do it, basically with your remarketing. But you definitely want to do that if you want to be able to take advantage of the similar audience stuff I just showed you to target people when they're watching videos on YouTube. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the video remarketing and similar audiences. Basically, the next video I'm gonna show you how to organize that dashboard like I told you about before, and then we'll talk about some optimization stuff and probably some other training as well, going to be in the resources section. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to Module 13 of the YouTube Video Ads section of Video Ads Academy. This is the video where I'm gonna walk you through organizing your dashboard, okay? And so you can probably see, you know, I'm inside of one of the video campaigns, the one I actually just showed you doing the setup process in an earlier video. Basically, what I mean by your dashboard is what you see, okay? And you can see how I got like all of these things here, okay? Now I can change this whenever I want to. All you have to do is go to columns, okay? And you can create, you know, whatever you want to call one. I created what's called a main columns for ads, you know, and this also works for YouTube, for Google, for regular Google as well. And then they have some preset ones where you can click, you know, where you can monitor your views. You can set it to track your audience, branding, and then if you want to look at, you know, website traffic and conversions, you can do that. And then you can create your own custom one, you know, which I did, okay? So what you can do if you want to do it, you want to customize. And then that's basically where you can, you know, have that information show up. So under performance, you know, I got the ones that I want. I've already added them over here, okay? And then if I want to go to conversion, let's say I wanted to do conversion rate 1 per view, maybe I want to add that, you know, or maybe I want to remove one, I can do that over here. You know, same thing on the earned actions. You can basically do that. And then you can also save this set of columns, and then you name it. And so that's what mine was like, main columns, you know, main ads, or whatever you want to call it, you know, whatever your naming convention is. But that's how you would save these, and then you could click on them like I was just showing you earlier. I'm not going to do that right now. I've already done it. But that's basically how you do it. And then once you find the ones, then you can put them in the order you want. Maybe I don't want impressions. Maybe I want impressions down here, you know. Or you can move them however you want them to look. This is going to be your first column. This is going to be your last column, okay? And then once you got it, you click Save. So I'm just going to cancel because I already got that. But that's basically it. You hit cancel. And then you have your dashboard. And this is important because once you start getting conversions, you know, website click, view rates, and all of that stuff, you want to be able to see it, you know, right here in your dashboard. I know some people that I know have managed millions of dollars on AdWords that don't even know this stuff, that I had to show them how to do some of this stuff. So this is very important. And then you can do segment. You know, you can segment by format. And this is stuff you can play around with to kind of see, what's the best way for you to analyze the data inside of AdWords for you. You can also break it down by device, and that's what I told you about, the optimization stuff we'll get into later or what have you. But again, that's basically how you do that part. Now, the other part I want to point out is that every time you move to a different tab, you have to change your columns again. So if I want to customize, so as you can see, some of the stuff under this particular tab isn't even showing for all the stuff we saw on the other tab. So every tab has its own little, unique metrics and things of that nature that you can do this on. And then you can create, you can save a set and create your own. I'm going to click cancel. Okay, but I've already created mine. I have another main column, main column videos. Okay, but you can also, switch, website traffic if I want to. Or I can go back to the one that I created. Every tab, you're going to have that. Okay, again, under your targeting groups, you can do the same thing, and then I think settings, you don't get the option, you don't need it for your settings. But these tabs, okay, and also on your main, all videos, when you go to that as well, it's the same thing. You're basically looking for this little thing that say customize columns, okay? And that's basically how you customize your dashboard, because you want to get a quick view of, impressions, views, average CPV, how much it costs you, how many, the clicks, how long the video played, so forth and so on. You can be able to see it, and you can customize it and organize it in a way that makes the most sense for you. So I know some people might be wondering, why mine looking like that and theirs is not. This is why, and that's why this is a cool little video, and I wanted to show you that. Again, you can also use this if you're doing regular Google AdWords campaigns. This same stuff apply, and at the end of the day, being able to analyze the data is what's going to allow you to make decisions about what you're going to do going forward. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. It was a short, quick one, something that I just want to kind of share with you. That's pretty cool. And there's also other segmentation I forgot to mention. Let me show you that as well. So under each tab, you might have other segmentation where you can segment by day, by week, by month. I mean, a lot of cool features. You can change this thing here to show you, your date range, and you can compare, metrics. Okay, you can do it. You can show it only for average CPV. All of these little things you need to pay attention to. That some of it may be overkill for you, so you want to simplify it, and make it as easy as possible for you. But again, if you jump to another tab, you're going to have the same thing. I can segment by device if I like to, or whatever. And so that's basically, how you can kind of really use the organizing your dashboard so you can kind of see what's going on. I think a lot of people overlook this stuff. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. The next video, we're going to talk about, optimization, how to kind of go about, doing optimization. So I'll probably have some content that I'll share with you, and then I'll show you kind of how to look for it, inside of your account in order to optimize. All right. Okay, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to Module 14 of the YouTube Video Ads section of Video Ads Academy. In this video, we're going to discuss optimization strategies. So, typically, when it comes to optimization, the first step for me is always trying to focus on the bids, trying to get my bid strategy in order. So, you have a couple of different ways you can approach it, and it really depends on what you're actually doing. For in display and in stream, you're going to do it by targeting groups, okay? And then if you're doing in search, you're going to be doing it by keyword. So you also with in search, you have targeting groups, and then you have individual keywords within each targeting group just like you can do for in display and in stream if you're doing content keywords. So you can also do by keyword as well in those, but you're going to be, your specific focus on keywords are going to be in the search targeting, because all keywords are not created equal. And really for display and in stream, where you're targeting people watching content, those keywords are used to help place your ads close to similar content. Whereas in search, it's actually what people are typing into the YouTube search box. So keywords take on a different meaning in that capacity. And so that's why I say by keyword for in search, you're going to want to dig down, to each individual keyword and then base your bid, by keyword. Whereas the other two, when you're watching content, you don't really get that option. You have to actually bid at the targeting group level. Okay. And your video ad view rate has a major impact on your bids. The higher you can get that number, the better, the more likely that you'll be able to get those lower bids. A lot of times they ask you to bid higher, and that's typically any type of platform like this, like Google AdWords or Facebook or any of the others. You have to prove that you can get a good click-through rate. Whereas here we're talking about a view rate. You have to prove that you can get that number up, and then they reward you in return. So, major impact. Again, Google is only concerned about their eCPM, how much they can earn per 1,000 impressions that they show. And the more clicks that you get per 1,000 impressions, the more money that they're going to make. And they can afford to award you with a lower bid, for someone who don't get that number. It works out. I won't get into particulars of how to, figure it out or whatever, but just know that eCPM is that's their metric, okay? And that's how they use it to determine who bids what, okay? So how do you adjust bids? You go to the Targets tab inside your campaign. So you already have a campaign set up. You log into your video, your AdWords account. You go to your video ads. You click on the campaign that you want to work on, and you click on the Targets tab. And when you do that, you'll see a lot of options that'll actually open up for you. Then what you want to do is click on the targeting groups for your particular campaign. And this is for in search, in display and in stream ads, targeting people watching content. You scroll down to where it's the max CPV, and you go to the targeting group that you want to edit your bid on. As you can see, I got it circled here. It's a little down pointing symbol, like a little pencil or something. You click on that little thing, and then this pops out, and that's where you can change your max CPV. You can bid it up, bid it down, depending on what you're seeing. If typically I like to bid high in the beginning, and then budget low, so I don't blow my budget. Okay, and then what you do is you can drive that bid down until you see the impressions go away, or maybe the conversions drop, or what have you, and then you want to play around with those bids until you can find the sweet spot. Okay, so that's mainly the bid part. The next part is like keywords. So you're also going to go the keyword level. Obviously you can't do that with in stream and in display, but you can in search. You can do by individual keyword. You can actually bid on that individual keyword for in search. Okay, and then the other part of with keywords for your optimization, you're going to exclude at the targeting group level, and you can also exclude keywords at the campaign level, both for people watching content and people actually searching on YouTube. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that here in a minute. So what you do, if you're under the targets tab, and you'll see, these kind of across the top, all targeting groups, demographics, topics, blah, blah, blah. You see where I've hovered over show more criteria. When you click that, it'll open up, more, display network keywords and YouTube search keywords. And you can also do this, at the targeting group level. You can click on your actual targeting group to find this as well. But this is kind of how you, find your keywords at the campaign level and figure out which ones are performing for you and which ones are not doing so well. And you can adjust the CPV on those particular keywords, or you can, remove them, you can pause them, what have you. And then here's where I hovered over, display network keywords, so you can see at the campaign level, it'll list the display network keyword, what it applies to, and what targeting group is on the max CPV for it, and so forth and so on. So you can actually view that data to kind of determine what you want to do. And at this level, you really can just pause it. You really can't change the max CPV on the display network. You got to do that at the target group level. But if you click the next one over where it says YouTube search keywords, you will be able to do that. And that's kind of how you find this information. So the next thing you want to focus on, you've got your bid strategy down, you've got your keyword stuff kind of figured out. The next order of business, typically for me, I want to look at demographics. I want to figure out what particular demographics are performing the best for me. So again, you're going to be on the targets tab inside of your campaign. You click on where it says demographics, and it'll break down, the age range, what it applies to, what targeting group that is connected with. And you can get a bird's eye view of what particular demographic is performing, the best for you and what targeting group. And then you can take that information and you can go into that targeting group and you can make those adjustments so you can be able to, get more bang for your buck. Also, if you see, where your ad's shown off to the right, you can click on like gender, ages, things of that nature to figure out, not only the age range for all of your entire, like I say, this is campaign level. You can do these same techniques I'm showing you at the targeting group level, where you want to really go into it, but this is where you get your bird's eye view of what's really happening inside of your campaign. Also, if you look at genders, it'll show you male, female, unknown. And what you can do is you can pause, you can get rid of them, you can exclude them, which I'm going to show you about that as well here in a moment. But that's going to be your next step in your optimization process, is trying to figure out what demographics perform the best for you. Now, you may know your demographic profile already when you first set your campaign up. So just make sure that when you're looking at these, then you can verify, if I'm only showing my ads to 35 to 54-year-olds, I shouldn't see any data on 18 to 24-year-olds or 25 to 30-year-olds. And if you're seeing data there, then your campaigns are probably not set up properly. Okay, so that's another way to kind of leverage, what I'm showing you right now, is if you have that done already, or after you've excluded a particular demographic or what have you, you can look under all of these tabs and kind of see, and if you're seeing data, then something probably is not right. Okay, so the next thing is the settings tab. Once I've, pretty much got an idea of my bid strategy, I know what keywords I want to focus on, I know what demographic I want to focus on. The next step is I'm going to go to my settings tab. And then my settings tab, you can go to your ad rotation. Okay, now this may even be something that you want to do right out of the gate. As you can see, this setting is already set for optimized conversions. This is a screenshot that I grabbed from one of my campaigns where I've already made all of the progressions. So I had already went in and changed it to optimize conversion. But when you first starting out, like I taught you doing, is creating a campaign, this should say, it should say rotate evenly, okay? And then you want to, so you'll see the little edit right next to optimize conversion. That should say rotate evenly. And then you can optimize it, you know, how you see fit. So when you click the actual little edit button, you know, this pops up, you know, optimize for views, for conversions, or rotate evenly, okay? So the next progression from rotate evenly really depends, okay? If you're getting good conversions already, then maybe your next step would be optimized for conversions. If you're not really getting good conversions, because maybe you're not getting that much volume, then you may want to optimize for views, and then what the system will automatically try to show your ad more often so you can get more views to your ad. So again, it really depends on your, you know, depends on where you are at that point. But you definitely want to, you know, look at, you know, your ad rotation. And sometimes you may even want to do it a little earlier than, you know, dialing in all of the other stuff. If you're getting conversions right out of the gate, it might be a good idea to go ahead and set that. The next one would be under settings would be frequency capping. And I've, you know, highlighted it here, the little edit button you can do. Now again, when you first setting your campaign up, this is something that's not going to be set. And as I mentioned during the setup phase, frequency capping is really, you know, if you're doing a lot of volume, frequency capping is something you want to do. If you're not doing a lot of volume, I wouldn't even fool with this particular feature, because really all you're going to do is stunt the amount of traffic or views or you know, how often they show your ad anyway, and you're not already getting a lot of volume. You know, you're just making it worse. You know, this is really for like high volume, you know, campaign, you know, $500,000 a day type stuff, where you're getting a lot of volume. You know, that's when you want to do this. But if you know, have the need for it, it's under your settings tab. You know, you click the little edit button, you know, this pops up. And then what you can do is you can limit the campaign. You know, here I'm setting this one to 3 impressions per day, or I can do it by week or by month. You know, and you click the save feature and you're done, okay? And once you've done the frequency capping, the next thing, you know, under your settings tab, you can click on the locations section. Now, this is for if you're targeting a lot of different, you know, locations. Now, if I'm doing, you know, from a country standpoint, usually I only target one country per campaign. That's just how I like to set it up. Now, if you have a campaign where you're just really trying to find out what countries are going to perform, and you want to throw in, you know, 4, 5, 10 different countries all in your group together, and you want to figure out which one is performing how, then you can go to your locations tab under your settings tab, you know, within your campaign, and it'll show you, you know, that information. And then you can exclude locations that are not doing well, you know, if you want to optimize like that or whatever. But typically what I do is if I have a catch-all campaign at first with multiple locations, you know, country-wise, or even if I'm doing like a local, like sometimes I do a campaign where I don't target like the entire United States. I may only target like certain states or certain metropolitan areas. I might do a little research and say, what's the top 10 metropolitan areas related to the niche that I'm doing? And, you know, this may be some additional training on this stuff, but basically it's like you can use like Google Trends and, you know, all kinds of different data to find out, like, you know, who are the people that's most receptive to some offer, you know, within the niche that you're in. And then you can start out by only targeting those people, especially if you got a lower budget. You know, it gives you a better ability to convert. And this in the location section is where you can find the information of what's working for you. Okay. The next thing would be the ad schedule. I showed you doing I think organizing your dashboard module, where you can view other segmentation where you can view times of day, days of the week, things of that nature. And this is the day and time feature where you might see in there that, certain days, your ads are not really performing that well. Here's where you can turn off those days or certain times of the day where your ads are not performing that well. Here's where you can optimize for that. Cut out, those times that are really not performing for you, and it'll really boost the profitability of your campaigns. So you'll go to that, click on that ad schedule under the settings tab, and then you'll click edit ad schedule, and this will pop up. Okay, and then you'll just basically go through. You see the little green things, those are little check marks. You just click on it and it'll turn it off, or you can click on it and it'll turn it on. And you'll basically just go through this process and set the schedule based on what you want it to be, based on the data that you have. That's basically how you do this, at that campaign level. And again, this is one of the probably top optimization techniques that you can use, because a lot of times I find, like, certain times of the day the campaigns just don't perform, and certain times of the day they perform really well. And then every niche is different, but this is one of my favorite type of optimization techniques that can, like, literally boost your campaign. I've had a situation where I've done this and it took a campaign from into the negative into the positive from one day to the next. So this is a very powerful feature that you want to definitely be looking at, and make sure that you understand how it works. This is how you find it, and you can play around with it. Again, base it on the data that you gather first. You may not, or if you're a service-based business and say you're driving phone calls or something like that, and your business is only open from 8 to 4, you can set that here. So there's another way to really do it. So it really depends on your business model, but if your business is only open a certain time of the day, you might not necessarily want to show your ad then, okay? Next thing would be under the settings tab is devices. And usually I set smartphones, to negative 100% for my desktop campaigns. And then if I want to have a mobile only campaign, I'll set either a mobile only, or one or the other. I don't usually group them together. But if you happen to do it wrong, you can go, and when you look at under the devices tab and you see that you're getting views on all of these different device types, then that you don't have your setting right. And you can go into your settings tab and you can actually fix it where you can exclude. I think it's under all settings all the way to the bottom. You can adjust it. And I think I might have glossed over that a little bit earlier, but that's where you'll go back and set that. It's under the setting tabs as well. Okay. Then last but not least, maybe not last, but you have exclusions, and it's called negative targets. And where you find that is under your campaign. You open the campaign, and you all targeting groups. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see a little thing that say negative targets with a plus sign next to it. Well, when you click that, this is what opens up. Okay. And what you can do is you can do it at the targeting group level. You can do it at the campaign level. Okay. So if you want to go targeting group level, you can do demographics. You can say, hey, I don't want, these people, this age, this gender to see my stuff for this particular targeting group. You can do it by each individual targeting group. You can do it by topics. You can exclude interests. Like, say maybe you targeting 3 or 4 interests and one of them is not performing well. You can either delete it or you can exclude it. Either way is a way that you can do it. Same thing with all the other features that you see here. Display network keywords, YouTube search. And then those same features also apply at the campaign level. And typically what I like to do, demographics, as you can see this screenshot, where this campaign I've already excluded some demographics because I'm in that particular progression of this, campaign in terms of the optimization. Okay. But lots of different ways you can kind of do it. But campaign level typically for me is the way that I like to sort of do it. And then I'll show you a little bit more about that. In a moment, I'm going to talk about something else that I do where I use these exclusions, okay? So advanced strategies, okay? Now, I'm not going to go into in-depth detail, of exactly how to do this, but I just want to plant a seed for a minute, okay? And the first one here says run multiple video ads using the same video with different custom thumbnails. Now I want you to think about that for a minute. Every video can only have one custom thumbnail. But if you want to split test your custom thumbnails, well, what do? Well, typically what you do is you run, like I told you before, you run that video with a custom thumbnail for a few days, a week, and then you change it to another one and let it run for a while. And you don't even have to change your ads in that particular instance. It'll automatically update. Your ad will automatically update with the new custom thumbnail whenever you change it, okay? But what if you want something more advanced than that? If you're doing a lot of volume, this is probably something definitely for you. If you're not doing a lot of volume, the other way probably works better because, time is, resources is your enemy. You don't have enough financial resources to do certain things, so it's your enemy. So you have a lot of time on your hands. Whereas when you have a lot of resources, time is your enemy. Okay, and so you want to try to leverage your resources to get to scale as quickly as humanly possible. Well, what you do is each video, you can take the same video that you upload to YouTube, and instead of uploading the same video again, they won't allow you to do that. Okay, and the reason I know because I tried it. They won't allow you to upload the same exact video. So what you need to do is you need to take that video, re-render that video, and add a few more seconds to that video, okay? And then once you produce that next video, it's like 2 or 3 seconds longer than the other one. Upload that to YouTube. They won't know the difference. They'll think it's a completely different video. It's the same video, but it's just a little bit longer. And so for every time that you want to do it, you just create that video and add a little bit more time to it. Okay. And then what you can do is you can set up each video independently, and it'll have its own custom thumbnail, right? And then when you create your campaign, when you add in the video, you'll just need that URL to that particular video. You create an ad for it. Then your next ad is your next video, so forth and so on. Now, again, I'm not going into great detail. I'm just kind of planting the seed for you to think about how to really tackle this. One of the things that we've done that really made a huge impact, okay? So then the next progression from that is, breaking down your campaigns by demographics only. And the only way you really can do that if you're using the same video, for each campaign is you're going to need several different videos. So if you want to break one campaign down, and only target a specific demographic, how many do you want to target? Well, that's how many variations of the video you're going to need. Create a video, add a little time to the end. You're going to need however many you want to do that by. Then if you want to break it down by each individual ad in that campaign, you're going to, multiply it by that. So let's say you want 3 demographics and you want to do 2 different campaigns where you need, 3 different demographic only campaigns